Welcome back to Gaming Night. I'm your host, G.A.M.E.R here, and today, welcome back to another Game Awards 2023 coverage video. This time, you know, it's kind of weird because I've already kind of made a video sort of similar to this where I'm going to be going over a lot of the games and which ones I've really loved. Which I kind of did a video like that where I did a recap of all the games. There were 35 games. It was all games that I found interesting even in the slightest, like ones that I now have on my radar that caught my eye. But this one, I'm gonna be going over all my favorites. So like this is more, the last video was more of like a coverage video as a gaming channel that covers everything, almost like an outlet, informing you about everything that was at the show. This one's more of like a personal video where you're just gonna learn more about what I'm interested in, and more or less I'm just gonna talk about some of the games, and we're gonna get excited together for sure. So yeah, that's kind of what this is. So without further ado, we're gonna just talk about some of my favorite reveals, favorite updates, favorite games of the show, and let's just go ahead. All right, hear me out. Let's just go ahead. Let's get the obvious out of the way. The absolute favorite announcement for me was the absolute stunner dream game, and that is Bethesda and Arcane Leon is developing an Xbox Blade game. And the thing is, it's third person. It is a action game. It's set in Paris, and it's just a perfect match, man. Blade and Arcane just scream perfect to me. And this is a game that Xbox fans have been wanting for a long time. Not specifically Blade. We're definitely happy it is Blade. But we've been wanting our, like, a Marvel, that kind of like Spider-Man competitor, even though it doesn't need to compete with it. But our Spider-Man comparison is what we've been wanting. And you know, this is just awesome. I really just am so hyped. I remember when they announced it, when my friend Christian was sitting right next to me, and I thought it was Deathloop 2 the whole time. I really did. And then he was like, "Wait, is that a vampire?" And I'm like, "Is it?" And then I like saw the guns, and I'm like, "Oh, this ain't Deathloop." And then he was like, "What is this?" And I was like, I have no idea. And he's like, "Is it Blade?" And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, it clicked. As soon as he guessed it, I knew 100% it was. I was like, oh my gosh, he is 100% right. And then he pulled the sword, boom, Blade popped up, and I lost it. I lost it, man. I erupted. I'll tell you, it was hype. It was definitely my favorite announcement. Will it probably be the best game out of all these games? Probably not, but it definitely had me the most excited out of everything, for sure. 100%. But then another obvious one, me, of course. Look, Xbox is my, like, you know, I'm the Xbox guy, but I love all of them. I love all of them. Truthfully, I love every platform equally, but I would consider myself an Xbox guy. That's just the one I know the most. It's just the one I've played the most. Simple as that. Hellblade 2, oh, it just looks phenomenal. It just looks so good. It just looks so good. Oh man, I'm so ready to play it. 2024, hey, take my money. Actually, you can't because it's free on Game Pass. Oh, Game Pass is goated, man. Hellblade 2, man, visually stunning. The story just looks as crazy as ever. And the combat looks so far improved. Although, granted, I do think it needs a little bit more work still. Polish it up, refine it a little bit. It looked a little clunky, but it looked so much better than the first game, even though I thought the first game's combat was solid. Yeah, I'm so excited for Hellblade 2. And then OD was the other Xbox game that showed up. This one is just exciting, just purely based off of information and details, not actually the game itself. It's a Kojima game partnered with Xbox. Jordan Peele, an incredible movie director, collaborating with Kojima on it. And it is a type of game we've never seen before. It's a cloud-based video game, movie / new type of media hybrid. It's a horror game that's going to test or find your threshold of fear. And yeah, it just sounds incredible. And then the little trailer we got is so, like, mysterious, and it's just a Kojima thing, man. His mind is in 5 different dimensions at once, coming up with these crazy things, and in the lab, cooking 24/7. Kojima is the GOAT. He is the GOAT of creators and directors, in my opinion. He's just a different breed when it comes to these things. And that trailer speaks for itself. It's just, what am I watching? I'm interested. it just screams that 100%. But yo, Xbox was not the only company that left me with some of my favorite stuff. In matter of fact, a company that left me with making them one of my favorites, actually, not just a specific favorite game, but it made me love this company so much more, and it puts me on the hype train to infinity. Sega, bro. Sega, oh, they blew my mind, dude. They blew me away. I was really expecting it to be Virtua Fighter 6. I thought maybe Persona 6. I thought maybe it was their quote-unquote super game. Nah, it was Jet Set Radio, Shinobi, Streets of Rage, and Golden Axe, which that one I'm not too familiar with. But the big one for me, Crazy Taxi. Oh my gosh. Ladies and gentlemen, hang on. Look, I have Crazy Taxi right here. I'm a PS2. I freaking love that game, okay? Crazy Taxi is undoubtedly, for me, top 3 Sega game of all time. Crazy Taxi is just, it's iconic, it's popular, it's one of the all-time greats, and it's coming back. And then Jet Set Radio is also huge. I'm very excited for that. It's, you know, it's loved by so many people. I've heard so many great things about it. Love the art style, love the whole idea of it. I've always been a fan of like the way it looked and everything, so I can't wait to finally play it, and play a Jet Set Radio. Very, very excited. And then Streets of Rage, we're getting actually the Sega Streets of Rage again, which is awesome. And then Shinobi just looked really cool. Like the art style, it's kind of like 2D Hades, honestly, almost in a way. And yeah, I'm here for it. And then Golden Axe, I'm kind of unfamiliar with, so I can't really speak on that. But yeah, Sega just, dude, Sega's elite now. Sega is actually elite now. I have a whole video coming out on Sega during the in a couple days that I'm so excited to talk about, because Sega is just, whoo, they're one of my favorites now, low-key. But anyway, moving on, let's jump, you know what, let's jump to some new IPs here. I said it in my recap, Exodus, man. Exodus really grabbed me, man. It really just kept me so engaged throughout the whole trailer, and I really am excited for this game. This was the game that Matthew McConaughey came out and, you know, announced that he was, you know, a part of, and that it was made from ex-BioWare developers, including the writers from Mass Effect and KOTOR. So, yeah, and then the visuals on the CG looked awesome. Like, I just loved the whole look of the game. And then the gameplay happened. And it reminds me of Returnal mixed with Mass Effect. And that, to me, screams yes. Because if you guys don't know me, Returnal is my second favorite game of all time. It has my favorite gameplay in any video game. It is my favorite gameplay ever. And yeah, it just looks so good. In the story section of the CG trailer part really just gripped me, man. It really just... Oh, man, I really just got really attached to it. And the fact that Matthew McConaughey's in it, and the fact that it's ex-BioWare developers, I really am kind of sold on this game. However, I do really want to see more before I really put that pin in the coffin of, like, yeah, I'm really, really excited for this game. But more or less, this was definitely a huge standout for me, 100%. Another huge standout for new IP. I'm telling you, this show did really, really good with new IPs. Very, very impressed. This is from a studio that I love, who made a game that I think is a masterpiece. 2 games that I think are masterpiece, and that is Moon Studios. They made Ori, Blind Forest, and Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and they announced a new IP, this time being an action RPG Diablo-like. No Rest for the Wicked, man. I was so excited. I remember the first half of the trailer, I was literally sitting next to everybody. I was telling all my friends. We had a huge watch party for this, and it was just awesome, man. It was just a great time. And I was telling them, like, oh, guys, dude, look at this art style. And then my one friend was like, yo, it's Sea of Thieves. And I was like, no. and we just kept on talking about all these things, because I was like, yo, this looks really cool. Like, but we were also so confused. And then next thing you know, it shows Moon Studios, and my jaw drops. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're seeing their new game. Nobody else kind of knew what that was except my one friend Christian. He knows Moon Studios, thankfully. I would have had a heart attack if he didn't. And yeah, I went crazy. I was so happy. I was seeing Moon Studios' new game, and it looked so good. And I was like, oh, and here's the thing. Here's what I'll say. I know a lot of people who I guess I've talked to about Ori will probably be like, I'm surprised you're not like upset that's not a new Ori, or that, you know, you're not wishing for a new Ori. And while if there was a new Ori, I would be excited. I would be welcoming it with open arms. I prefer them to actually do this new IP or go work on something else, because at the end of the day, I think Will of the Wisps is almost such a perfect game that it doesn't really need a follow-up. It can kind of just sit on its own as one of the best Metroidvanias, period. Nothing more needed. Whereas now we can really see Moon Studios do something different, and from what we've seen, it looks great, man. It just absolutely looks great. Yeah, man. No Rest for the Wicked. I'm so hyped for that. Rise of the Ronin. I've been excited for that. I feel like we've talked about this on the channel multiple times. It just looks really great. Team Ninja knows what they're doing with Souls games, and Wo Long and Neo are great. Yeah, and then the big part for me, which it has me super excited for Rise of the Ronin, which is crazy how things like this can happen, is that because of its release date, I'm now so much more excited. Look, if they announce a game and I know I have to wait a long time for it, I'm not going to be as excited. But if they announce a game and they tell me, yeah, you're going to play this within the next 3 months, oh, I'm hyped. I'm ready. And that is exactly what they did here. They announced Rise of the Ronin, gave us another phenomenal trailer. Game continues to look so fun. And they said, you know what? March. You're going to be playing this game in 3 months. Yup. Amen, brother. Amen, brother. And yeah, and the same thing happened with this next game. Not as impressive in terms of a release date, but still got me super excited because we got the release date, and that is Black Myth Wukong, another Souls game that just continues to look amazing as well. This one, honestly, in terms of the look of the games, I think Black Myth looks more interesting. However, I'm probably more excited for Rise of the Ronin. I think Black Myth has more potential because of just its overall theme and setting, but I think Rise of the Ronin looks more like, I don't know, just up my alley, I guess, if I would say. But both of these games look phenomenal. I think they are going to be phenomenal. And then Black Myth Wukong did get an August release day. I do believe like August 20th, I do believe. Don't quote me on that. And yeah, I'm super excited because now I actually know when I could possibly be playing this game. So very, very excited about that. And then Tales of Kinzara Zhao, which is a new IP from a studio that was started up by an Assassin's Creed Origins voice actor. He left the studio and he started up his own studio, which you don't see that very often, almost ever. And I feel like if I would have just saw this trailer, I wouldn't have been as attached if it wasn't for its lead up to the trailer. Before the game was shown, the voice actor came out and he told us, he was the voice actor in Origins, and he started up his own game studio in honor of his dad that passed away, and that his dad helped him get into video games and taught him so much, and that he wanted to make a game to represent, the losses in life, and just honoring those that have gone, and that he put everything he had into this game and in the studio, and then it showed that it was an EA original, and you guys know I love the EA Originals program. They've been hitting on all cylinders. I really just fell in love with the whole idea behind it, and then whether that opening thing happened or not, the game actually does look really cool. It's kind of like it screams Prince of Persia, the Lost Crown, but it has a little bit of that Ori mobility to it, which I literally just told you, I think Ori is a masterpiece. So I am really excited for this game. And we did another thing that got me really excited is that we actually got a release date for April. We're gonna be playing in like 4 months. Yeah, dude, I'm in 100%. And then we're gonna go to a personal favorite. This one, I don't know how popular it's going to be, but to me, it is completely up my alley. And that is, we're going away from new IP here for a minute. We're going to Jurassic Park Survival. So, listen, I'm a huge Jurassic Park fan. It's one of my favorite movies. It's some of my favorite movie franchises. And I love horror games. It's in my top 3 genres at the moment. And I'm a dinosaur nut, okay? I'm admitting it right here, right now. I'm a dinosaur nut. I love dinosaurs. I know so many unnecessary, stupid facts about dinosaurs that you don't need to know, but I know. I'm sorry. And listen, if you're telling me we're getting Alien Isolation as Jurassic Park, yep, take my money. Yep. Yep. Take my money. I'm in. Easily one of my most excited games that come out of the show. Look, it almost just, it was made for me. It's a horror game. It is a AAA game. It is a first-person dinosaur game. Jurassic Park. Dude, I'm in. This game really does have potential to be just something so awesome. Hopefully the execution's good. It's kind of that worrying because there's not like a big studio behind it. So a little worrisome, but hey, that does not mean it was the end of the world. It just means that it could prove a lot of people wrong or right. So, but yeah, anyway, and then there were 2 DLCs that I actually really enjoyed, the fact that they were there, and that is, of course, FF16's 2 DLCs. The trailers themselves were, you know, it just looked like more Final Fantasies. They're just more Final Fantasy 16. They're adding new chapters. The fact that one of them shadow dropped the night of is really awesome to me, and then one of them's coming out really soon, like within spring of 2024. It actually made me want to actually like finish FF16 this week, which I probably will do. And so I'm going to go do that, and then I might actually hop straight into that DLC, Echoes of the Fallen, and the Rising Tide coming out later next year, or early next year, really, kind of spring, March, April, May-ish, I guess. But yeah, that was really awesome. And then, of course, God of War DLC, God of War Ragnarok Valhalla is what it's called, and we're getting that roguelike mode. We're getting a little bit of extra kind of like story like Kratos arc type stuff. Getting a lot of combat stuff with it, and yeah, and it's free DLC and comes out at the time of recording this. It comes out in 3 days. Wow, what's just awesome DLC stuff to happen at the show, 100%. Okay, now we're gonna go to legitimately 2 of my favorite things that happened at this show, and I honestly can't believe that these 2, I would say, are like among my favorite. Obviously, Blade's my favorite. Obviously, Hellblade 2 has got to be up there. I already talked about No Rest for the Wicked being up there. Sega being one of my favorite announcements. And then, of course, Jurassic Park being one of my favorites. But these are the 2 games out of all of them that I would not have expected to be as excited for as I am, and that's kind of what's pushing me to say they're some of my favorite reveals. Truly, I have a lot of favorites here. There was a lot of great games, and the first one is Monster Hunter Wilds. So I've played Monster Hunter Rise, and I've played Monster Hunter World. I've had a lot of fun with both. I played Rise on the Switch and World on my Xbox One when both those games respectively came out. And I had a lot of fun with both, but I never got super attached to it, I guess. And I guess I've always just kind of wanted more from him. And it's not the fact that the games were bad. I don't know. I saw the possibility with the franchise, and I've kind of just been waiting for that game that I really do fall in love with the franchise. And the fact that this game seems to be hinting that a true open world Monster Hunter game gets me actually really excited. And the fact that it was the final thing in the show, and the fact that it's called Wilds and not World 2, it's kind of going to be like a nice breath of fresh air, this whole new thing. And I don't know, I really am excited for this. Like, I'm really blown away on how actually excited I am for it. And I feel like it's going to be one of those games where I'm going to see the next trailer and be like, yeah, actually, I'm super sold on this. And then I'm going to see the cover art and be like, oh, you know what? This is one of my most anticipated games. But as of right now, I'm very much looking forward to seeing more of this game. I really, really am, and I would not have expected that going into it. But even more so, everything I just said about Monster Hunter Wilds, this next game, I'm not gonna lie, I've been recording all these videos you've seen throughout the week, back to back so far. I've talked about this game on a number of occasions already. And I'm not gonna lie, the more I talk about it, the more and more it goes up on my list. And honestly, at this point, I might say it is my second favorite thing that happened at the show outside of Blade. And I mean, you're competing with Blade, so come on now. But Visions of Mana, or Mana, I really don't know. I need to learn how to pronounce it because I need to do this right. Visions of Mana. Why am I so in love with this? I really am struggling to comprehend. You guys know I'm a sucker for art styles. Okay? Sucker for art styles. And this game screams that. I love JRPGs. Game is that. And here's the thing that's really weird to me. I've been saying Square Enix has been really hit or miss for a long time. I think they're honestly at the moment one of the weakest publishers out there, outside of Final Fantasy, which does carry them, I can't lie. But this game has me so hooked. Like I'm sold. Like actually so sold on this game. I know that the Mana series has been so loved by so many people, and that I don't know if this is a sequel or a spiritual successor or just a new entry or a remake. I don't know what this game is, but all I know, I'm in love with the art style. I'm in love with the characters. I'm in love with the gameplay of it. I'm in love with the music, everything about it. I'm so in love with it. It reminds me of Immortals Phoenix Rising mixed with, like, I don't know. It looks like Immortals Phoenix Rising mixed with Dragon Quest, honestly. Like, that's kind of what it's giving. I think that's a good... I think that's a good example. I really am just so in love with this game, and I can't believe I am. Like, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's cool. I've heard of the Mana series. Interesting. But then I rewatched it. I'm like, oh, you know what? This actually looks really cool. Yeah, this actually is a pretty neat looking game. And then I watched it a third time, and I was like, you know what? I'm actually kind of wanting to play this game. And then I started talking about it on some videos, and I'm like, you know what? I actually seem to be really into this game. And then I watched it again before doing this, and I'm like, oh, this looks like, I don't know. It's just one of those games, the more I see it, the more I talk about it, it is quickly becoming one of my most anticipated games, period. Yeah, Square Enix, good job. You sold me. I don't know why I'm talking like Donald Trump. Good job, Square Enix. You sold me. What am I doing? All right, anyway, but oh my god. But those are my favorite reveals. I do have 4 honorable mentions. Exoborn was a new IP that I just love the trailer. That's why I put it here. I really do love the trailer, but I'm not super sold on the game yet. Light No Fire is a new IP from the creators of No Man's Sky. I think it looks really cool. The only reason I'm putting it on mentions just because it is from the No Man's Sky studio, and we know how bad of a launch they had and rough patches that they had for No Man's Sky. Windblown is the new game from Dead Cells the Dead Cells team, and yeah, while I'm definitely looking forward to the game, I just don't think it was one of my favorite things here. And then same thing with Usual June, a game from the team behind Tunic, a game that I absolutely loved. I think the game looks really cool. I love the art style, but I can't say I'm super sold on the gameplay yet and just the whole premise of it. So definitely games that I definitely were very interested in, but didn't get that love flair from it. All the other ones that I've talked about today, I'm already in love with and super duper excited. It's honestly almost sold. So But yeah, you guys let me know what was some of your favorite games in the show. For me, my top, I'll go and give you my top 5. Number 1, Blade, easy, no contest. Although I will say second place is getting there, dude. Visions of Mana is number 2. Not gonna lie. Number 3, I think I gotta go with. I don't know, man. I might have to go with. I'm gonna go with Jurassic Park Survival, dude. I'm really excited for that. Number 4, Hellblade 2, gotta go there. And then number 5. See, it's kind of hard because like I want to say the Sega thing, but that's kind of cheating because it's 5 games. But then I don't want to say one individual game because we saw so little of each game, you know. But like truly, that Sega thing is like one of my favorite things there. If I had to choose one, it would be Crazy Taxi. Yeah, you know what? Who cares? I'm gonna just say the whole Sega thing. The whole Sega thing is like, yeah, in my top 5. Because I really just am so blown away by that. So, yeah. Those are my top 5. You guys let me know what were your top 5. And, yeah, I'll see you in the next one. I do have 3 more videos covering the Game Awards coming out throughout the week. Or we might leak into next week a little bit just because 6 and 7 days is kind of a bit. And I do have other videos planned as well. But yeah, anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. G.A.M.E.R out. Peace.